to 2389, Emperor Grade Array Master's Secluded Home. Published by Divine.Tao Library. Translator, Salavan and Rykov. Translation checker, Pew Pew Lasergun. Editor and proofreader, Leo of Zion Mountain and Dale Ligerkeys. Yang Kai was the first to arrive on the deck. Sang De was already standing there. Soon after, Man Kuai and the others also showed up. Looking around they could see the endless, sparkling sea, and the calm, beautiful scenery under the blue sky and white clouds. Grandmaster, why have we stopped? Shi Lan looked around and asked, a little confused. We're here, Sang De replied. Even though the tone of his voice was calm, anyone could feel the slight tinge of excitement in it. When the crowd heard this, they all looked surprised. They all looked around again, but their faces were still shocked and uncertain. They were surrounded by nothing but the sea and it looked no different from anywhere else, so how had they arrived? That old thing's spirit array is of a very high grade. It's not too much to call him an Emperor Grade Array Master. There is a 10 shades reflecting water grand array in front of us, so it's normal that you can't see anything. Sang De looked ahead and explained, sneering, if you really did see something, then that'd be the real problem. An Emperor Grade Array Master. Chen Fai's face changed and he frowned. Grandmaster, you never said that this was the den of an Emperor Grade Array Master. What kind of joke was this? They were going to break into an Emperor Grade Array Master's secluded home. Wasn't that the same as courting death? Even if the Emperor Grade Array Master was dead, how many killing or trapping arrays would he have placed in his home? If they barged in, then surely nothing good would come out of it. They might only end up being blown to pieces. Shi Lan and Man Kuai did not say anything, but their faces were filled with worry and fear, clearly very afraid. If you're scared, you may leave now. Sang De coldly snorted. Chen Fai's face was cold and he was feeling extremely unhappy. He felt like he had gotten himself trapped aboard a pirate ship, and right now, Sang De told him to leave. Wasn't that a joke? First of all, not mentioning whether it was physically possible for him to just up and leave. Even if he could, how could he be willing? Since Grandmaster brought us here, then he must have his own reasoning. What are you all so anxious about? Yang Kai shot a glance at Chen Fei and stated coldly. Shi Lan smiled at his words and nodded, that's right, Grandmaster must have made preparations. We just need to follow his orders. Sang De turned over to look at him. It would naturally be the best if that is what you think. From now on, this old master does not want to hear any more questions. Do whatever this old master tells you to do. If you don't want to cooperate, then you better scram now. No one said anything. Who would try to refute him at this time? Sang De nodded in satisfaction, very good. This 10 shades reflecting water grand array may be amazing, but a spirit array is dead while a human is alive. If that old thing were still alive, this old master would not be able to break in, but since he's already dead. Hey hey. With a sneer, his body flew out from the ship while at the same time, he beckoned, follow me. Yang Kai and the others followed him without a word. Next, Sang De seemed to begin circling around a place. While doing that, he took out array flags one by one from his space ring and tossed them into the void. When he reached a specific location, he would ask one of the others to stop and hand him a control flag, then tell him to wait for orders. When they saw him so skillful and confident, the crowd also grew confident in him. They no longer had any hesitation or objections and were very cooperative with his command and actions. About half an hour later, everything was ready. The 5 of them were standing in 5 different directions, each holding a control flag on standby. Suddenly, there was a loud bellow from Sang De's side. Following that, there were powerful fluctuations of source qi. When the 4 others saw this, they immediately followed Sang De's previous instructions and poured their source qi into the array flags in their hands, casting them into the void before them. In a flash, 5 rays of light like rainbows from the sky appeared on a large surface of the sea, passing through north, south, east, and west in tightly connected links. At the same time, the array flags that were arranged by Sang De previously also played a role. Under the mobilization of the 5 control flags, these hidden flags immediately produced a strange resonance and began emitting strange power fluctuations. A transparent semicircular light curtain appeared out of thin air above the surface of the sea in the next instant. This huge light curtain was like an inverted bowl, enveloping the surface of the sea. Through the light curtain, one could vaguely see a difference in the scenery that was more than just the sea. When they saw this, they all immediately knew that what Sang De said was true. There was in fact a master's secluded home here, but it was hidden by a powerful spirit array. All Sang De had to do now was break open this spirit array to reveal the place inside once more. As the five of them kept on pouring out their source chi, the view inside the transparent screen of light gradually grew clearer and clearer. Yang Kai looked closely and discovered that it was just a small island. It wasn't too big, but it had very good scenery. It was a rocky and craggy island with green grass that was pleasant to look at. Who knew how Sangda's master found this place, but it was indeed an excellent place to live in. Since he couldn't leave the solitary void-sealed world, then it would still be a relaxing life to live here alone. It was a pity, however, that he was blind and accepted an unfilial disciple like Sangda, so he could not have peace even after death, as Sangda had brought a team of people over to disturb his rest. After an hour, Yang Kai and the others had consumed so much strength that they were almost running out, but the view of the little island beneath the transparent light curtain was also finally completely presented in front of their eyes. At that moment, Sangda seemed to have made some movements. After Yang Kai and the others heard a buzz from the array flags arranged around the island, a huge force burst out and directly shattered the light screen. Yang Kai and the others who were unprepared were all shaken back due to the huge burst of power and almost had to eat a loss. But from the looks of things, the 10 shades reflecting water grand array covering and concealing the island was broken. Sangda had already taken the initiative to move towards the island. When they saw this, the others all used their movement skills to follow him and did not fall behind. Soon, the 5 of them gathered on the small island, standing on one edge of it. As Sangda did not move, the rest didn't dare to move either. This was, after all, an Emperor-grade array master's secluded home. One wrong step might lead to a deadly disaster. After a moment of contemplation, Sangda said, "There are still many spirit arrays on this island. This old master will deal with them one by one. Will you be waiting for this old master here or go with me?" After that, he added, "This old master suggests that you all wait for me here." The rest didn't speak, but Shilan hurried to say, "This island is dangerous. This mistress thinks it is safer to go with Grandmaster." "Are you sure?" Sangda glanced at Shilan. Shilan pursed her lips and smiled. "Grandmaster has brought me here, so you have to take responsibility for protecting me." Who knows if it was just in her nature or if she was used to putting up an act to be able to act so coquettish in front of an old man like Sangda. "What about you 3? Sangda turned his head to the rest of them. Man Kuai scratched his head and grinned meaningfully. "I will follow Grandmaster too." Chen Fei frowned and glanced at Yang Kai. "I'm tired. I'll rest here. Just call me when you're done." After that, Yang Kai sat down cross-legged just like that. Chen Fei said, "Then I'll stay too, to keep Brother Yang company." Yang Kai glanced at him with a meaningful smirk, but Chen Fei's face was unchanged. "Then the 2 of you, follow this old master." With a sneer, Sangda called out to Shilan and Man Kuai before leading the way forward. The 2 of them looked at each other, neither of them knowing whether their choice was right or not, but as things had come to this, they could only grit their teeth and follow. Once the group of 3 disappeared from their view, Chen Fei suddenly turned to Yang Kai. "Brother Yang, are you not worried they will leave you behind if you do not follow them?" Yang Kai responded indifferently, "If Brother Chen is afraid, just follow them yourself. Why involve me?" Chen Fei smiled. "Brother Yang seems to be quite hostile towards me. May this Chen know how he has offended you." Yang Kai told him, "I've always been like this. If Brother Chen is not used to it, then don't talk to me in case you can't stand it." Chen Fei's face twitched, but he forced a smile. "This Chen admires a proud man like Brother Yang. You seem to be a capable person. I wonder if you would be interested in cooperating with this Chen." "Cooperation? What kind of cooperation?" Yang Kai looked at him with a faint smile. Chen Fei spoke with a straight face. "No need to speak in illusions with me. Since Brother Yang was invited here by Grandmaster, Brother Yang must also wish to leave the solitary void-sealed world. If what the Grandmaster said is true and he has a tool to leave this place, would Brother Yang not wish to get that tool in his hands?" The corners of Yang Kai's mouth rose, revealing a meaningful smile. "Brother Chen has bold thoughts." Chen Fei continued, "The location of the exit is in Sangda's hands. If he has that and the items necessary to reach it, then it will give him control over whether he will bring us along when the time comes. Whether Sangda can be trusted or not is a whole other matter. Regardless, I don't believe in him, but if we can get a hold of whatever it is we are here for, then the power to make those decisions would fall into our hands. Sangda will also have to act in accordance with our will." Yang Kai nodded. "Brother Chen has a fair point. I hadn't thought of that." Chen Fei smiled. "Brother Yang just has not considered it. You have a gentleman's heart. Open and honest." He ended his piece on a flattering note, much to Yang Kai's pleasure. Then according to Brother Chen, what are we to do? Chen Fei said, naturally when Sang defines the thing, first. Brother Chen will rush over to slash around to create a distraction while I take the opportunity to snatch the thing away. Yang Kai did not wait for him to finish and ended his sentence for him. Chen Fei's face went dark as his mouth was left wide open, but he couldn't muster a word even after a long time. Yang Kai asked seriously, does Brother Chen think that this proposal is no good? Chen Fei's face twitched, well, please allow this Chen to think about it. They are not easy to deal with. Things may fall beyond redemption if I make one false move. Naturally, consideration is needed. When Brother Chen is done considering, let me know, then I also know when I should make my move. Yang Kai said with a straight face. Yes, of course. Chen Fei nodded stiffly.